Hello, everyone, and welcome to International Mentoring Center webinar series, where we continue to pursue our mission to empower mentors and mentees worldwide by fostering a community of learning, growth, and professional development. Here at Times, we believe that mentorship is one of the most powerful tools for personal and professional transformation. And through this platform, industry experts and leaders can share insights, knowledge, and best practices to elevate global awareness on mentoring standards. My name is Ira, and I will be your host. So, like always, for our regular participants, a few housekeeping reminders. Please keep your mics muted. Though, of course, you're welcome to turn on your videos, your cameras if you prefer. We'd love to see you. And feel free to drop your questions or thoughts in the chat throughout the presentation. And at the end, we'll open the floor for audience questions. So stay with us till the end of this webinar to earn a certificate and credits from IMC. So without further ado, our speaker today is a master trainer and experienced HR and L&D professional with over 17 years of expertise in talent development across the MENA region. Known for his consultative leadership styles and results-driven approach, he designs impactful learning solutions that enhance performance and drive business growth. Let us all welcome our speaker, Mohamed Mossilhy.
Thank you very much, Ira, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm Mohamed Mossilhy. I'm really glad to be here with you today. I remember when Ira reached out to me and telling me there's an opportunity for a webinar in Ramadan. I have doubts to do this, but I thought it was a great opportunity to meet like-minded people and people that I can share and learn with some insights about emotional intelligence. Hold on. Right. What do you think? What was that? All right. Go ahead and type in the chat. What is your reaction right now to this very short, brief 20-second introduction, hopefully not offensive? Tell me how you're feeling in the chat. What is your reaction?
Participants are saying
All
excited.
right. Yeah.
AI.
Fauzias, thank you very much for your kind. That's excited. Ayman, thank you very much. Yeah, I knew it was AI-like. I tried to do that, but yeah. I can see a very, very close friend of mine and a true mentor in mine. I'm trying to hold my emotions, stay professional here when I'm seeing when I saw the name of Shadi Hanna. Great to see you, my friend. Really, really pleased. Thank you, Yusuf, very much. But yeah, it's weird to start. I'm not sure if that resonates very, very well with emotional intelligence. But if I only got a couple of minutes with you and share one insight that I've learned over my years of experience, it's not only about what you say, but most importantly, about how you say. So let me give it another start. All right. So really, I welcome you all, and I'm very pleased to be here with you and seeing some really familiar faces and fantastic and like-minded professionals. Thank you for being here in this fantastic time in Ramadan. My name is Mohamed Mossilhy. I'm a former civil engineer, an accidental trainer for the past 20 or so. Yeah, I think I use this cheesy line of that I moved from a business of building buildings to the business of building minds. Cheesy, I know, but I totally believe in it. I have some experience in the space of HR and L&D. I'm Egyptian living in Saudi Arabia and called Riyadh home for the past 10 years. But for this call, I'm joining from the beautiful city of Cairo, where I'm enjoying Ramadan as well, and wish you a fantastic time for everyone that is observing Ramadan and Eid Mubarak in advance. Yeah, so a little bit more about me. So my specialty is a little bit more in HR transformation. I have some experiences in consulting firms as well. My passion is truly is about talking to people and hopefully with some minor thoughts and minimum inspiration that I could help them make changes in their life. My hobbies, I'm a basketball player. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. I'm a gaming enthusiast. I believe games can be a fantastic tool for learning, but if designed well. And recently, like Dr. Ayman mentioned, I've been playing a lot with AI, which is something really interesting. So I'll play with these two terminologies a lot, AI versus AI. Very well. So in the upcoming 30 to 40 minutes or so, I'll try to be as less boring as possible and try to take you through some of the declared objectives. And before I do so, I would like you, if you can kindly in the chat type a little bit more about your background, if you're currently a mentor or a coach or just interested for the topic itself. This will help me to maybe slightly fine tune my slides and examples on the fly. So go ahead and do that. Tell me a little bit more about your background, if you're a coach, if you're a mentor, if there's something or main takeaway you would like to take and get from this session. All right. So Fauziya, I can see you are a mentor and trainer. Amazing. Also, if you can, please type in, I'm sorry if this is late and I will not overload you with a lot of requests. So tell me, where are you joining from right now? From Oman. I love Oman. I've visited Muscat a few times. It's an amazing city. Dr. Shadi, of course, coach, mentor, and thank you for your time in joining here from Toronto, Canada. And Vivian, you're joining from Harrisburg. Amazing. Yusuf, of course, you're joining from Egypt like me as well. Awesome. Dr. Ayman also joining from Cairo. So I can see that there is a difference in time. And again, I'll try to be mindful of time when we're moving on ahead and also making sure that we have some time at the end for some Q&A if needed. All right. So go ahead and keep typing these requests. I would definitely am looking at it. I'm looking at Mohamed Hilmi is joining from my beloved Riyadh as well. Awesome. And also I can see a variety in interest joining. So I'll try to flex my style a little bit more to be a little bit more accommodating to your needs. So few objectives could be a little bit more overkill for a 30 to 40 minutes sessions, but hopefully, inshallah, we'll try to cover as much as possible of this one. One of my main goals and objectives here is to share with you and reconfirm. I'm sure some of you will be already have some awareness around EI with the term emotional triggers. What does it mean, and how can we manage it positively and effectively? The stress I'm talking about for us as mentors, leaders, coaches, and trainers, and also for the people that we are taking care of, our coachees, our mentees, our trainees, and people we are responsible for in general. We're going to look about what makes a positive mentoring environment in a way, and what is the relation with that with emotional intelligence. Actually, there is a big relation into it. I'll show it to you in the upcoming couple of slides. Uh, what sort of how can we hone and sort of redirect the emotions of others, especially those of us who are receiving our services, irrespective of you as a coaches and mentors? How can you work with their tough times when they're sharing with you with their experiences? How can we show better understanding to that? And most importantly, how can we respond to that and channel these emotions in a positive way? Last couple of objectives is like to guide our mentees through with compassion and insight through challenges in journey. So I have some few tips at the end of my presentation, and hopefully we will result ultimately to inspire them and show them and inspire confidence in our mentees and coachees as well. Amazing. Uh, very well. So having a look when I was preparing this one, I was amazed and I'm happy to partner with IMC for this webinar. And I had a look about the competency framework that they're offering. 9 really in fact impactful, I think, specially curated competencies that addresses knowledge, skills, and behaviors that a true mentor, him or her, can possess. And I picked these 3 particularly that have some sort of association the session that we're having today. I'm speaking of course about number 3, the effective communication. I'll try to hold my horses here when I talk about communication, but I can tell you, and some of you are already trainers, there's some training institutes, there's some delivery and awarding bodies that can put all of the problem solving programs, decision making, all of the soft skills, this is so called soft skills tracks, all of it under the topic communication skills. And with that, and I cannot emphasize enough about the importance of effective communication and being it as a very crucial and important competency for any successful mentor generally. Communication is not only about talking and choosing the right words, but it's also about balancing that with good listening skills and empathy. The next competency is competency number 4, which is building relationship and maintenance, or relationship building and maintenance. And yeah, it goes, uh, um, when I read it from the IMC competency framework, sounds very logical, yet very powerful at the same time. Mentor and mentee, this sort of interaction is all about creating a healthy relationship that can balance satisfaction from both sides, for a mentor, him or her, and for mentees, for better guidance, for better choices in their life and their careers, and for the mentors, for fulfillment, for having this sort of mutual benefit for both of them. That is wrapped by trust and respect. And lastly, number 7, which is commitment to enabling learning and growth. And what a wonderful competency that is. It's not, I would say it's not exclusive to any mentor, but particularly very, very close, very crucial and important for any mentor and coach. Not only to help and grow and support our clients, your mentees and coaches and trainees to learn and grow. Yeah, goes without saying, but also for you as leaders in that space. Continuous learning and growth is a fantastic and important competency here. And you being here is a great sign for that, and also everyone watching the recording. So I would also like to invite you to have a look about the other and the wider and framework of competency framework. I'm sure that Ira will share that or share that already in the chat. So I would kindly invite you to have a look at it in your time. Very well. I'm not here to differentiate between a mentor and a coach, but as a start, I would like to highlight one aspect and one angle that I see about the role of a mentor, or who's a mentor is. And I'm taking the words from Dr. Kathy Cram when she's describing the role of a mentor of two main specific roles. The first role, which is being a career advisor. With this role, with this part, you're taking the responsibility of guiding and supporting your mentees and often believing in their potential more than they do sometimes. Pushing them to do more in a healthy environment, not constantly pushing them, but in a healthy way to achieve and grow and achieve their career goals. Encouraging their growth, encouraging and navigating challenges and hurdles they may face. Mentors play a critical and crucial role in supporting them as career advisors. But mentors as well play an equally important role as cheerleader. Yes, you heard correctly, cheerleader. Because your role as a mentor, again, also this applies a lot to those of you who are coaches and trainers and everyone interested in that space. Your role is morally support people you're working with. And sometimes subjectively, when you tell them, bravo, you did a great job, while actually was okay or a mediocre. This is not an invitation for supporting mediocrity by any means possible. But in certain circumstances, in certain situation, in a particular context, this is the most objective things to do, is to support and push them in a healthy way to provide an assurance and this sort of emotional safety for your attendees and for your mentees. All right. If I'm trying to find, I'll try to find a number of definition for emotional intelligence and what's it about. And I'll tell you what comes to my mind first. I think emotional intelligence is a little more about, or it's not about changing who you are or changing the way you react. But I believe emotional intelligence is about understanding yourself, understanding who you are, how you feel, and try to give a little bit more of clarity about historical example and situation and experiences you had in the purpose of understanding yourself and hopefully make different choices in the future. A number of definitions out there. I picked these two in particular. The one by Pete Salovey. And by the way, Pete Salovey, he's the guy that that first represented the term emotional intelligence. Yeah. And forget me if I'm reading word by word only for this one. So emotional intelligence is the ability to monitor one's own and others' feeling and emotions, to discriminate among them, and to use this information to guide one's thinking and action. I believe also emotional intelligence refers to the capacity and recognizing own feelings and those of others, for motivating ourselves and for managing emotions well, um, in in our relationship generally. And my personal favorite definition is the one by Travis Bradbury. The emotional intelligence is the other kind of smart. Yeah. And I'm speaking, of course, about being smart. All right. So here are some stats for the stat nerds of you like me. I'll try to be quick about this one. Yeah, just to emphasize a little bit more of things about the importance of emotional intelligence, EI, and EQ. So 85 of financial successes in some of the countries, according to a research by Harvard and survey by Harvard Business Review, 85% of financial successes is attributed to emotional intelligence one way or another, while 15% comes from a little bit more of a technical skill. I can see there's a lot of people are moving toward emphasizing the importance and role of AI. Of course, this goes without saying, but I don't want to go to the extreme side of continuum as well, disregarding the importance of technical skills. I think that the balance is very, very important. So I don't want to be extremes like in the past when a lot of people, we used to say that technical skills is king. This is the most important thing. Emotions and emotional intelligence, all of these are trivial. It's not. I think it's a little bit more of managing both. Although we're recently seeing emotional intelligence and emotional quotients is taking a top priorities in so many stats and development tracks and leadership programs and more. So for example, according to Travis Bradbury again, nearly 58% of performances um, in all types of job in his research and in his book are accounted for, responsible, or related to EI one way or another. Gallup, the famous Gallup, have their fantastic surveys, and they say leaders with high emotional intelligence are likely or 4 more times likely to engage and retain and keep their employees and their core talent more comparing to others. And I believe this particular one is very crucial and important, especially that when we're seeing right now the re-emergence of the great resignations and the difficulty we're seeing and re-emergence of quiet quitting one more time after we thought this was a thing for COVID. So holding to your core talent is a very crucial thing on top of the agenda of a lot of business leaders worldwide. A couple more before I move on to the next slide. Yeah, here people with high emotional experience are experiencing less stress and lower burnout. And I have very interesting slide at the end of my presentation today about the state of flow, or how can we manage our stress into an optimum performance level. And according to research by Forbes for the number one skill for leadership skill last year, it was absolutely and predominantly all about emotional intelligence. Yeah. So why it matters and why this is important? Yeah, I understand there is a hype around that, and I'm glad to see a lot of people are interested to learn more about it and actually seeing the value and the fruit out of it, because it is something important, something critical. So for example, EI, and particularly in a space of mentoring and mentorship, it helps us to build this sort of trust and rapport. Remember, it's all about relationship. It's all about communicating with your mentees and your clients and people you give support to and advice and consultation to. So building trust and rapport, I don't think it's again a trivial or less important, and the important thing is to focus on a technical skills or capabilities. These are important, but wrapping that with the proper emotional intelligence elements, as we're going to see in upcoming slides, is also equally important. Having proper EI awareness and emotional intelligence awareness will help us also to give constructive feedback to the people we're working with, choosing when, how, and what to say to the people we're working with. Will also help us to manage and navigate through difficult conversation, difficult time, which is, yeah, it is part of the job, part of the role. We have to experience that. We have to deal with it one way or another, and ultimately foster growth and development. Um, we are seeing right now the rise of AI, as Dr. Ayman mentioned. here. I'm a big fan of AI. I don't believe in the machine apocalypse. I don't think AI will replace people's jobs, but I believe AI, people with AI skill will replace people without AI skill. But this is for another topic. In the rise of AI and in the wake of AI and everything associated with it, I see there is an equally important need for emotional intelligence. I do think AI is and the use of machines is fantastic. It's supporting us. I use it a lot. I used it actually in designing some of the content I have today. It's fantastic. I love it. But I don't think it is there yet. And even with the huge and leaps in development that we're observing and seeing, I don't see it taking the role of human. As I always say to the people I'm teaching qualification and to my students, HR, it's not only about the R, it's not only about the resources, but it's more about the H in HR, the human part. And I think this will remain relevant, will remain in demand for a very, very long time. Yeah. All right, so I will base my majority of my slide based on the work of Dr. Daniel Goleman, which I like to call him the Cristiano Ronaldo of emotional intelligence. Yeah, I like that. He's amazing. He's a fantastic guy, and again, the way that he carries himself and the way he represents himself as a mentor, by the way, is fantastic. Through the work of Dr. Daniel Goleman, he represented emotional intelligence through four main domains. Two of them are representing managing self or related to personal, and two of them representing or managing and working with others. So the first two about self is like self-awareness, which is you understanding who you are, what are you doing, knowing your own triggers and more. So I will talk about that in the upcoming slide. And then self-management. So after you understand who you are, what's your trigger, what moves you, uh, how can you react about that? What sort of choices can you do in order to represent yourself to the outer world in a better way? And a tool with working with others, I'm talking about social awareness. And then it's not always going to be about me, but it's about me and the others as well. So recognizing emotions of other, looking at the nonverbals, for example, trying to giving some sort of excuses as we're going to do in one short exercise today. And lastly, it's about relationship management. I have some story to share with you about an ex-professor of mine in university, which is I was talking with some friend about him, and when the word mentor come to mind, few faces pop up here. By the way, a couple of them, or one of them is here in the chat, but one of them as well is the professor I'm going to talk to you about today. All right. So, just to break the monotony of me talking, tell me in the chat, which of these four do you think you are or you feel strongest in? And which do you think I need to do a little bit more work or I need to develop in? So again, from these four, which one do you think, yeah, I'm okay with that? And which one do you think, all right, I need to work? I'm interested to learn more about it. So I'm seeing comments from folks in the chat. Vivian, Ayman Shadi. All right. I'll give it 10 more seconds. Very well. Very well. Thank you very much for participation and sharing and that. If you allow me, I will pause every now and then just to check for understanding and get your feedback on a couple of stuff. But yeah, but thank you for your inputs on that. I will take these four in a little bit more of the details in the upcoming few minutes, starting first of all with the self-awareness. So I remember in my early years of experience and as a junior trainer, when I was responsible of delivering back-to-back trainings for weeks. I remember one project I had that I had to deliver 5 days a week for 2 weeks. And at the end of the 10th day, I felt absolutely destroyed. It's not the regular, like, kind of exhaustion you feel after a long day of work, but it was something more. And it really, really bothered me so much. And I lived with that for a few years until I've done my first MBTI assessment. And when I was working with my assessor and he's telling me, Muhammad, your preference is leaning more toward introversion. And I was resisting the idea because I had the misconception that a trainer cannot be introvert or do not have, should not have an introversion preference in a way or another. Then he told me, Muhammad, hold on. It's not about that. These sort of assessments and tools, it's not to put a stamp on your forehead and lock you in boxes in a way, but as a tool in a way in order for you to understand and be self-aware of what is your default preferences and how can you manage it. So for an introvert or a slightly ambivert leaning toward introvert, this meaning that these sort of project, an extended project working with people closely day to day could be energy draining. And that's why you feel, him saying that to me, you feel extremely destroyed after the 10th day and sometimes in the 5th day because your energy levels are drained. You need to control, you need to pause, you need to do some sort of a healthy breaks. And he mentioned that terms as well, because he used to share that sort of a preference with me. He said, I enjoy working with people, but I get exhausted by people. And I manage that through putting healthy and interval uh, breaks during trainings and deliveries and stuff like that. By doing something like this, by exploring yourself a little bit more, by getting a little bit more of understanding and awareness about yourself through so many ways, whether it is being assessment, feedback from others, doing your own reflection or meditation in a way. This could be a fantastic way to start learning about what triggers you. Where you're most active, where you're most energetic. And by the way, this varies on so many factors, on the time of the day, on your preference, on the culture, on a different context as well. Understanding yourself is an important and key way in order to know and understand what is your emotional triggers and biases. Speaking about next domain, second domain from Professor Dr. Daniel Goleman model, it's about self-management. And he represented that in four main areas again. Yeah. First one is a positive outlook, emotional balance, achievement oriented, and adaptability. I've been I don't want to say misjudged because I like the terminology, being considered as overly optimistic person. And I like that and absolutely okay with it. I think the world need more optimists, the world that we're living in. Because if you looked outside, and especially in these times where a lot of change, a lot of turmoil, especially in the area, in the region, a lot of folks and attendees are joining right now, are seeing, are facing and reflecting on a circle of influence versus circle of concern. I think we need to focus more and expand our circle of influence more using positive outlook. I remember I worked with one of my colleagues and close friends in one of the projects, and I was observing his reactions. He was working in operation management, which is a very, very difficult organization, constantly working on firefighting situations, both literally and figuratively tasks. I think he works on a minimum of 60 email per day, which is a lot. I think he has massive and huge team working with. He done ton of transactions per day, and I mean per transaction, talking, working, interacting with other people. A lot of it are not like really, really happy interaction. It's either about there's a delay in shipment, or there is a pressure from a supplier, or there is a catastrophe is about to happen. I was always, always impressed by his composure. And not only that, by the way he look and analyze stuff. In the beginning, I thought this was some sort of a kind of a him being cold, but it was not like that. He was actually looking to the next step. He's actually a person that, all right, see if there is a crisis and situation that went wrong. He does not look back and point fingers and try to look at history to blame others, But he looks back and try to identify what went wrong in order not to make that mistake again, but look outward and have this sort of positive outlook, or where we should go from here. What should we do next? How can we make this better? How can we make sure that this issue does not repeat? Taking it easy on his or her, or on his team members. So yeah, I always have this person in mind, Ahmed, when I have these thoughts. He also one of these guys who I see these emotional balance check out there. Don't get me wrong. He gets angry. He gets angry sometimes. But I think this is what about self-management is. It's not about suppressing your emotions. No, no, no. I don't think this is healthy, to be honest with you. I don't think suppressing our emotion is a healthy thing. I think managing it, controlling it, understanding it, and ultimately maybe you will choose to go with your burst, to go and let someone have it. That could be a choice, by the way. But most importantly is that you control that. But definitely, this doesn't mean that you work on impulses. This doesn't mean that you react immediately when you see the next thing that does not make you happy, or doesn't make you angry as well. It's also about achievement orientation and adaptability. And if I have quick advice to share here on a 4 steps to help and navigate through some really difficult times, I will choose and pick these 4. Number 1, do not react out of impulse. T- just take it easy. Do not pass it. Sometimes pause. You need to pause and take time. Just understand your trigger. Number 2, breathe. I'm coming from sports field. I used to work in the sports organization for the past almost 10 years or so. I'm working with fantastic fitness professionals. Some of them are already here. I can see some familiar names here with me. Breathing could be a fantastic way in order to regulate our emotions. Anyway, deep breathe in particular. I understand that this may not be a good choice, especially if you are in a part of these sort of situations. But if you are able to isolate yourself from that particular situation, it's easy to tell someone, all right, I'm sorry, I need a minute out here and do these breathing exercise. There is a ton of breathing exercise out there. My personal favorite is the one that you take 2 shorts and 1 long, and then hold for 2 seconds and then release. Do that 5 to 6 times, sometimes to up to 10 times. That's fine. It's tried and tested with a lot of professional, and it works. I guarantee you that. It will not solve the problem, but at least it will put you in a better mood in order how can you deal with that. Next one. Again, do not act out of impulses. All right. Just pause. Take time to reflect on time. It's okay sometime to ask for the person and people you're working with, all right, just give me a second here to analyze, to process. And you can tell them that, by the way. And then choose your responses. And again, I'm highly emphasizing on it's not about you always being nice. It's not about that. I would favor kindness over being nice, by the way. All right. Difference between kind and nice is very, very fragile. So, but I see that being nice is a choice. You can be nice to people you really don't like. All right. But kindness adds a degree of being genuine to the benefit of all, you and others as well, to help other get out of some sort of a rut or difficult situation. So choosing your responses based on these 3 steps, I found it personally to be very, very effective. When we have found it to be effective is try to find innocent reasons for other reactions and behaviors. And with that, I adopted an exercise from Dr. Brenda Hughes and her exercise of 5 innocent reasons. So her advice is like if you see some sort of a behavior or reaction from people you're working with or having some sort of a different expectation with them and you were shocked by their reaction, is like try to think of 5 innocent reasons why they might reacted that way. Let's practice it together. So I have 3 scenarios here prepared, quick ones. I will not ask you to write or think of 5 reasons, 5 innocent reasons for these behavior, but I would like you to kindly think of one. And I'll kindly ask you to type it in the chat. So here's the first situation. You just handed your long-awaited report that you worked hard on to your boss before a very important board meeting. Remember, it's all your work. You did all the work and you are in time. But your boss grabbed this report, did not say a word, and just ran. think of one innocent reason of why this red behavior here of that manager. Try to think of it. I'll tell you the other non-innocent reason that other might think of, all right? Who do he think he is? He didn't even say thank you. Now he's taking that and show it to the board and tell it and take credit for it, right? Yeah, we've heard that, we've seen that before. But try to help me. What could be innocent reasons for that behavior?
I love the answer. The wife is calling.
Yes. Amazing comment, Dr. Shadi. All right. Vivian, absolutely. And this was actually the reason I personally went through that example. And this was the main reason for it when I talked with him, or what's wrong? Did you didn't like the report? Did I do something wrong? And he just told me, I'm sorry, Muhammad, my head was buzzing. I just was running late for that meeting. So thank you, Vivian, for comment, Dr. Shadi. Exactly, Agushi. He was in very, very hurry. He was hurried to go to the board meeting. Exactly, Fauziya. He was in a rush to attend that meeting. Exactly, Dr. Ayman. Absolutely correct. Thank you very much for showing your empathy and understanding for innocent reasons. I'll not push it for another second one, but I would like to ask you about that next situation here. So during one of assuming you're all and a lot of you are doing a little bit more of coaching and mentoring and in some scope or in some space, you ask a serious question to your mentee and then he laughed inappropriately. What do you think could be an innocent reason or justification for that reaction? And by the way, I've run through this one and some of the ideas that came to my head that are not innocent, that what? Are you kidding me? I'm spending time to stay here with you and give you and helping you with some ideas and advice, and I'm asking you critical question, and you laugh in this way? Are you not showing respect? This could be some of the initial reaction that would pop up in people's minds, right? But we would like to kindly ask you about what do you think would be an innocent justification, innocent reasons for his reaction? Dr. Shadi. I love it again. Yeah, exactly. Maybe they found something that they reflected on their own experience. Yeah. Or wow, I'm funny. I like this one, Gushi. Yeah, I like this one. I'm not. I know I'm not that. A lot of my Egyptian friends have these fantastic, famous sense of humor. I don't have it. I know that for sure. Exactly, Dr. Ayman. It could be a situation or a question that reminded him of a certain situation. 100%. Yeah. Again, thank you very much for your comment. Actually, this happened to me, and when I asked him and I paused and tried to reflect on that, he told me, Muhammad, I'm sorry, this was like an impulsive reaction to me. I did not consider that. I was thinking about situation to it, and I'll try to channel my energy and find ways to answer it, but it came out wrong. So I'm really sorry and I apologize for that. And that was absolutely okay. Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much for your comment. Let's have a look about the last one here. You said hello to a colleague in the hallway, in a company hallway, and when you and as you tried to look at her, she didn't look at you. She walked away without responding. Some initial thoughts in your mind could be, "What? Who do you think you are? I'm just saying hello with your name, and you're just ignoring me." What do you think could be innocent reasons for her behavior? Dr. Ayman, she's preoccupied. Yes. Vivian, it could be both. It could be actually she didn't hear me because she's actually so engrossed and focused on something she was doing, and she was actually holding a piece of paper, and maybe she didn't, and she didn't pay attention to it or preoccupied. Thank you very much for your comment. Marwa, thank you for your comment. She was thinking about other stuff and not even aware she did. And this was actually true because I actually know that. And I'm trying to build this. This is one of my areas to develop, is like to be like geographically in my space aware of what's happening and surrounding, especially when I get my head into stuff. And my first reaction when people ask me, nudge me for the second time, I told them, all right, I did it again, right? I didn't pay attention to you, and I apologize. That's fine. Because she was a similar type of mind like me. Yeah. Fauzia, thank you very much for a very, very creative reasoning. She could be putting earphones and earplugs in her. Absolutely correct. This could happen. Thank you very much for being so kind. Dr. Shani, again, I will not go to that extreme in differentiation. I'll try to balance these sort of respect to all gender. But yeah, I know a lot of women who are super genius and can balance so many things in the same time. Yeah, thank you very, very much for your comments, ladies and gentlemen out here. And just to recap on this first part, the first half of the two domains of personal awareness, self-awareness and self-management by Dr. Daniel Goleman. It's about all about understanding who you are. It's not about justification, try to justify your reactions. It's about understanding it. And remember, it's not about suppressing it, because suppressing it may not or may have some sort of an altering impact or damaging impact. Let's have a quick look. I'm conscious of time here about the social awareness part and the people part working with. So in the social awareness part here, we have a couple of things to consider. I think it's very much related to the previous exercise that we're having. But if we're taking it in a little bit more of specialization, it's about how we turn to others, how it's not all about me, 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 and how it's about giving and how it's about understanding other people, how to look for the unwritten cues, the nonverbals, for example, and the way they react and their facial expressions. I know it's difficult for some. I totally understand and appreciate that. But even for those who are not that super intelligent about reading people facial expression and stuff like that, just a simple question about asking, are you okay? Is everything all right? Could be a great start. It's all about the empathy and how you, and it's not sympathy. It's not making yourself part of the problem, but showing that you're understanding through proper cues and maybe sharing similar exercise experiences with the people you're working with. And most importantly, I do believe it's about listening. There's different types of listening. I will not go about and go all technical, tell you about ignoring, selection, pretending, and an active one, but definitely active listening. Just by doing something basic as maintaining proper eye contact would do a fantastic job. I remember back in the days when my eldest daughter, she was 4 or 5 at that time, and I was very, very busy preparing for a training, and she was asking me about something related to her school or something, that activity. To meet at that point, that was not super critical, but I'll try to maintain a healthy relationship with her. But I was so focused uh, on my piece and on my slides. Yeah, I was listening to her. I know she's important. She's definitely very, very important to me, but I did not show any sort of signs of eye contact or attention to her. Until one moment she came and she told me, Baba, and she just moved my head just for me to look at her. To her, when she was less than 6 years old, she barely took, I don't know, some courses, ABC 1 to 3. She understand naturally as a human being that looking into someone's eyes, this means you're paying attention to him or her. This means that you are actively listening to them. So if there is one takeaway from this one, I would definitely, definitely focus on active listening. I will not go all technical on this one, but I will move to the next one here, which is about relationship management. Again, working with your mentees is all about the relationship management. I remember back in the School of Engineering when we used to study a very, very critical topic called material. It's called material, خلاص مواد. And I remember Dr. Munir Kamal, rahmatullah alayhi, may Allah bless his soul. He was always treating us as equals. And I was surprised by that. Absolutely. He's a very, very important person in the space of construction management. He was a big contributor to the code of steel and code of construction here in Egypt and in other countries in GCC as well. He's a very, very well-known person. He does not have the need to treat students that to some could be noisy, annoying, a burden. We can't wait for a summer just to get rid of them. I know some professors who had this sort of mentality and mindset. But Dr. Munir Kamal didn't have that. He was always treating us with respect, always smiling. I will never forget that. I never saw him that is not smiling. I remember some of students from other departments coming to attending his lecture because it was so fun and so engaging and so interesting. He always called us by either son or Bashmuhandis, which is the Egyptian name, an Arabic name for engineer. And that for a lot of us meant a lot. It meant a lot of level of respect. To us, he was an educator, a teacher, and a mentor as well. I was easily taking anything he mentioned with a high level of trust. And definitely, he was one of the key people that, when I hear the term humbleness, inspiration, and motivation, he's one of the key faces and important faces that pops up out there. I think a healthy mentoring relationship is about something not necessarily like that, but something similar. Something about how can we nourish this relationship? How can we make it grow? How can we make it beneficial for the both of us? Because remember, mentoring relationship is not about a mentor giving to a mentee or sharing with mentees. It's not about that. But there is a sense of fulfillment. There is a sense of satisfaction and appreciation that you can see for a mentor as well. All right. So, what about the overcoming challenges and relating, linking that to emotional roadblocks? Few things or three main steps that I would like to highlight here before I move on to the next last couple of slides. Um, first of all, when you're working with your mentees, it's okay to practice patience. Again, very similarly to managing and handling your emotions. That's fine. Assure them. Let them to take some time off and reflect. Number two, build a psychological safety space for them that they can share and sometimes vent in some cases. Yeah, I don't want to say to curse in some of these sessions, but if that's it, so be it. And number three, make clear objectives, but make it as simple as basic as possible. I'm a big fan of the book Atomic Habits, and it's the model of incremental changes, just 1% every day. I think a healthy and a good mentoring relationship, coaching mentoring relationship, a coaching relationship as well, especially when overcoming roadblocks, is like these sort of incremental changes in order to make a lasting impact. Uh, Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, and do not ask me to repeat that because I practiced it. He was one of the first people who were introduced the term flow. So this is the flow is like this is when you are in the zone. This is when you are at your best. This is when you are engrossed in an activity. This is when you are just excelling in your game, in your sports, and in your work. This is when you don't feel about the time. So Professor Mihaly, she sent me high, said that there is some sort of a balance and some sort of a relationship between a healthy amount of stress and a high level of performance. I know this could be difficult for the perfectionist of you and everyone watching that. And black kudos to you. This is amazing. But take it easy on yourself. Because often the perfectionist would associate high performance and their expectations on themselves and others. And you find this linked very much with high level of stress and pressure. And this sadly will lead ultimately to the burnout, dissatisfaction, a lot of things about poor setting of expectation. But our role as professionals as well in our space, coaches, mentors, trainers, leaders in general, is to help ourselves first and others find this key sweet spot between healthy dose and amount of stress and performance. I remember in my amateur days playing basketball, and my coach said a very weird comment at that time. He telling me, Muhammad, you are playing your best when you either have a jammed finger, for those of you who are playing that's a common injury in basketball players, or you're feeling that a severe underdog in front of the other team, or you're feeling any sort of disadvantages. And to me, him saying that, to me, I will make sure that you're being put at that disadvantage in any game, in our coming games in order for us to win. That was weird to me at that time, and it did not sound well until very, very recently. That when I was first introduced to the flow concept, I had that aha moment then at that time. I believe each and every one have their own zone, their own flow time, their own areas or state when they are really engrossed and they feel the sort of timelessness in a way. And I encourage you to have a go at it in the chat and tell me when was the last time you felt that you are in a state of flow and what triggered that? For me, it was last week when I was preparing these slides. I felt I was in the flow. Yeah. But I can see here. I'd like to look at comments from Gushi. All right. So for you, when you have like some sort of uncertain expectation, and I'm just improvising here, Gushi, and maybe how can you overcome and work with these sort of expectation? This is when you feel that you are in the flow. All right. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. Totally understand you 100%. Amazing. What about the rest of you? Tell me when was the last time you felt that you were in the flow, in the zone? Amazing to see that there's a recent experience you were having that and experiencing that, Dr. Shadi. Yeah, sometimes you find yourself in that state where you didn't plan for it, you didn't expect it. I don't want to waste time and tell you about my routine designing content, but I don't know. I'm starting to find these sort of sweet spot and doing my ritual in order to be in that flow. Maybe in another talk I can talk about that. Vivian, that's fine. Vivian, I'm happy if we can, if you would like to connect more, I'm happy to share with you some additional resources about the flow. And if even later on, I'm happy if we can have an opportunity to discuss that again. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your insights and for your perspective here. I love that feeling, Dr. Ayman, and especially that feeling for a new topic, something that you're not used to. So that pushes you a little bit more outside of the comfort zone and make this sort of creativity juices flowing. Dr. Chad, thanks for your comment. Marwa, thank you for your comment. And again, I know that because I've attended one of your training, totally in the flow, totally in the zone. Amazing, amazing comment. So yeah, I'm conscious of time. Let me wrap my presentation here to you with these last few tips it's not exclusive for mentors, but I believe it applies to a wider audience as well. Working with others and managing this relationship, it's important to manage and create these sort of emotional check-ins, making yourself available. I believe I had some sort of an unhealthy mentoring relationship with a fantastic mentor, great experience, ex-boss of mine. I agreed on having this sort of agreement, but I rarely found him available. Rarely found him the opportunity, even with the calendars, with the times that we set in order to meet. There was always postponement. There's always something that comes up. That he's very busy professional. But if you aren't facing something like that, and we know a lot of us are very, very busy professional, make sure you have at least these times where you at least send a message to someone. How are you? How are you feeling today? Everything is okay? Tell me a little bit more about updates and stuff like that. It will not, these few minutes can make or break a mentoring relationship. It's okay to practice. And I know some of you, mashallah, are fantastic coaches as well. You do fantastic drills and role plays with your mentees and coachees as well. I cannot emphasize enough on the importance and how impactful this could be, because definitely help you to develop the resilience and agility. And I remember from my consulting days when we use this have this term, agility is king. And I tell people, all right, this is too much agility for me. I feel like a slime if I pushed any further, if one more step toward agility. So yeah, a healthy amount of resilience and agility in building them and reflecting on difficult situation can help a lot. And lastly, taking time to pause and think back and reflect. And reflection can come in so many ways. It could be just sitting in a space and time where you have a minimal disruption and look back at it. It could be having a piece of paper and pen and just trying to jot down some thoughts and ideas. It could be an application or practice of meditation or mindfulness. All of that could be associated with reflection. But the most important thing here is for reflection to happen. If I have to have one last advice to conclude my presentation here to you with you, it's very, very important to slow down in order to move fast. Thank you very much for your attentiveness and being here as well, and being here with me. I think we have still have a very, very decent amount of participants that despite these times in Ramadan, really, really appreciate it for being here. But I think it's time right now that we can take some of these questions out here. So I'm looking at Gushi question. Gushi, absolutely great, great, great question. Can reflection lead to actions? I totally say big yes, absolutely. Actually, I think reflection will help you. These previous steps, sorry if I'm going back. For these previous steps, in order for it to work very well, in order to mitigate future risks and try to avoid replication of issues and mistakes, you need to have these sort of time to pause and reflect in order to see what went well, what didn't go well, how can we move from here. So totally agree with you 100%. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Shadi. Same here. I cannot tell you about the emotions of seeing here. Hopefully, we catch up very soon. Rabia, thank you very much. Uh, Very well. I think I'm just in time about that. But,
Amazing.
but,
I'm
but
really glad that you were able to share so much things with us. You know, I have three things that my takeaways from your webinar was that being nice is a choice, but being kind comes from being genuine. That was really powerful. And, you know, I love the two short breaths, one long breath. I think I'm going to be doing that the whole day, every
all
day.
right. Great to
And
hear. Yeah,
I,
thank you very much.
I love that I have a new learning today, which is the five innocent reasons. I think that was really amazing, really powerful material today, Mohammed. Thank you so much. And
Thank
that
you.
wraps up our session for today. Thank you so much, everybody, for your thoughtful questions and your participation. I really had fun reading those comments, and thank you so much, Mohammed, for taking this time and partnering with us and doing this webinar with us. Your content was so invaluable, your insight and your expertise, how emotional intelligence is the key to effective mentoring is really inspiring and motivating. And I would like to welcome everybody. If you are someone who is seeking credentials, or if you are a training provider who is seeking accreditations, please feel free to visit our website. I'll be sharing that up on the chat right now. So if you'd like to know more about our offerings, you can always look into the website. And if you are a mentor or looking for a mentor, you can always contact Mohammed. He is available on LinkedIn. Please feel free to reach out to him if there's anything that you would like to know about his offerings and the topics that he mentioned today, especially the flow is also something that's really interesting. So if you want to reach out to him and him becoming your mentor or joining one of his talks, feel free to reach out to him on LinkedIn. And thank you all so much for joining us today. We hope you found this session inspiring and it fuels your commitment to fostering meaningful mentorships. Mohammed, any parting remarks?
Just that I'm really excited to see a lot of familiar faces and names, and thank you very much for your interaction. I really, really enjoyed this one. Please reach out to me if you have any question or comment or asking for resources for sources of references I used in building this content. Happy to do so. And with that, I'll leave you in peace for everyone observing rest of Ramadan and observing Eid. I wish you Eid Mubarak, inshallah, and speak to you soon. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you so much, everybody.